Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to this episode of Mahabharat. This version of Mahabharat is the translated version of Ved Vyas Mahabharat by Kisari Mohan Ganguli. This is an honest attempt to share the version with the listeners. Adi Parva Continued. The next is Mahaprasthanika, the 17th Parv. In this, those foremost amongst men, the Pandavas, abdicating their kingdom, went with Draupadi on their great journey called Mahaprasthan. In this, they come across Agni, having arrived on the shore of the sea of red waters. In this, asked by Agni himself, Arjun worshipped him duly, returned to him the excellent celestial bow called Gandiva. In this, leaving his brothers who dropped one after another and Draupadi also, Yudhishthir went on his journey without once looking back on them. This, the 17th Parv, is called Mahaprasthanika. The number of sections in this is three. The number of shlokas, also composed by Vyasa, cognizant of truth, is 320. The Parva that comes after this, you must know, is the extraordinary one called Swarga of celestial incidents. Then, seeing the celestial car come to take them, Yudhishthir, moved by the kindness towards the dog that accompanied him, refused to ascend it without his companion. Observing the illustrious Yudhishthir's steady adherence to virtue, Dharma, the god of justice, abandoning his canine form, showed himself to the king. Then Yudhishthir, ascending to heaven, felt much pain. The celestial messenger showed him hell by an act of deception. Then Yudhishthir, the soul of justice, heard the heart rending lamentations of his brothers abiding in that region under the discipline of Yama. Then Dharma and Indra showed Yudhishthir the regions appointed for sinners. Then Yudhishthir, after leaving the human body by a plunge in the celestial Ganges, attained to that region which his acts merited, and began to live in joy, respected by Indra and all other gods. This is the 18th Parva, as narrated by illustrious Vyasa. The number of shlokas composed, O ascetics, by the great Rishi in this is 209. The above are the contents of the 18 Parvas. In the appendix, Hita are the Harivansha and the Vivishya. The number of shlokas contained in the Harivansa is 12,000. These are the contents of the section called Parvasangraha. Soti continued, 18 Akshayunis of troops came together for battle. The encounter that ensued was terrible and lasted for 18 days. He who knows the four Vedas with all the Angas and Upanishad but does not know this history, Bharata, cannot be regarded as wise. Vyasa, of immeasurable intelligence, has spoken of the Mahabharata as a treatise on Artha, on Dharma, and on Kam. Those who have listened to this history can never bear to listen to others, as indeed they who have listened to the sweet voice of the male kokila can never hear the dissonance of a crow's coin. As the formation of the three worlds proceeded from the five elements, so do the inspiration of all poets proceed from this excellent composition. O ye Brahman, as the four kinds of creatures, viviparous, oviparous, born of hot moisture and vegetables, are dependent on space for their existence, so the Puranas depend on this history. As all the senses depend for their exercise upon the various modifications of the mind, so do all acts or ceremonials and moral qualities depend upon this treatise. This is not a story current in the world, but doth depend on this history, even as body upon the food it taketh. All poets cherish the Bharata, even as servants desirous of preferment always attend upon masters of good lineage. Even as the blessed domestic ashrama can never be surpassed by the three other ashramas or modes of life, so no poet can surpass this poem. Ye ascetics, shake off all inaction. Let your hearts be fixed on virtue, for virtue is the one only friend of him that has gone to the other world. Even the most intelligent, by cherishing wealth and wives, can never make these their own, nor are these possessing lasting. The Bharat uttered by the lips of Dwaipayan is without a parallel. It is virtue itself and sacred. It destroyeth sin and produceth good. He that listeneth to it while it is being recited hath no need of a bath in the sacred waters of Pushkar. As Brahmana, with whatever sins he may have committed during the day, through his senses is freed from them all by reading the Bharata in the evening. Whatever sins he may have committed also in the night by deeds, words, or mind, he is freed for them by reading Bharata for the first twilight or morning. He that giveth 100 kine with horns mounted with gold to a Brahmin, well posted up in the Vedas and all branches of learning, and he that daily listeneth to the sacred narrations of the Bharata, acquireth equal merit. As the wide ocean is easily passable by men having ships, so is this extensive history of great excellence and deep import with the help of this chapter called Parva Sangraha. Thus endeth the section called Parva Sangraha of the Adi Parv of the blessed Mahabharat. Section 3 Pausha Parva. Sauti said, Janmejay, the son of Parikshit, was with his brothers attending his last sacrifice on the plains of Kurukshetra. His brothers were three, Shrutsen, Ugrasen, and Bhimsen. And they were sitting at the sacrifice. They arrived at the spot and offspring of Sarama, the celestial bitch. And, belabored by the brothers of Janmejay, he ran away to his mother, crying in pain. And his mother, seeing him crying, exceedingly asked him, Why criest thou so? Who hath beaten thee? And being thus questioned, he said unto his mother, I have been belabored by the brothers of Janmejay. And his mother replied, Thou hast committed some fault for which hast thou been beaten? He answered, I have not committed any fault. I have not touched the sacrificial butter with my tongue, nor have I ever cast a look upon it. His mother, Sarama, hearing this and much distressed at the affliction of her son, went to the place where Janmejay with his brothers was at his long extending sacrifice, and she addressed Janmejay in anger, saying, This, my son, hath committed no fault. He hath not looked upon your sacrificial butter, nor hath he touched it with his tongue. Whatever for hath he been beaten? They said not a word in reply. Whereupon she said, As ye have beaten my son, who hath committed no fault, therefore shall evil upon ye, when ye least expect it. Janmejay, thus addressed by the celestial bitch, Sarama, became exceedingly alarmed and dejected, and after the sacrifice was concluded, returned to Hastinapur, and began to take great pains in searching for a Purohit who could, by procuring absolutions for his sin, neutralize the effect of the curse. One day, Janmejay, the son of Parikshit, while hunting, observed in a particular part of his dominions a hermitage where dwelt a certain rishi of fame, Sarva. He was son of Somasrava, deeply engaged in ascetic devotions. Being desirous of appointing that son of the rishi as his purohit, Janmejit, the son of Parikshit, saluted the rishi and addressed him, saying, O possessor of the six attributes, let this thy son be my purohit. The rishi thus addressed answered Janmejay, O Janmejay, this my son, deep in ascetic devotions, accomplished in the study of Vedas, and endued with the full force of my asceticism, is born of the womb of a she snake that had drunk my vital fluid. He is able to absolve thee from all offences, save those committed against Mahadev. But he had one particular habit, that is, he would grant to any Brahmin whatever might be begged of him. If thou canst put up with it, then thou take him. Janmejay, thus addressed, replied the rishi, I shall be even so. And accepting him for his purohit, he returned to his capital. And he then addressed his brothers, saying, This is the person I have chosen for as my spiritual master. Whatsoever he may say must be complied with without examination. And his brothers did as they were directed. And giving these directions to his brothers, the king marched towards Takshashila and brought the country under his authority. About this time, there was a rishi, Ayodhya Damyuna by name, and Ayodhya Dayuma had three disciples, Upamanyu, Aruni, and Veda. And the rishi bade one of these disciples, Aruni of Panchal, to go and stop up a breach in the watercourse of a certain field. And Aruni of Panchal, thus ordered by his preceptor, repaired to the spot. And having gone there, he saw that he could not stop up the breach in the watercourse by ordinary means. And he was distressed because he could not do his preceptor's bidding. But at length he saw a way and said, Well, I will do it in this way. He then went down into the breach and lay himself down there, and the water was thus confined. And some time after, the preceptor Ayodhya Dayumya asked his other disciples where Aruni of Panchal was. And they answered, Sir, he had been seen by yourself saying, Go, stop up the breach in the watercourse of the field. Thus reminded, Dayuma, addressing his pupils, said, Then let us all go to the place where he is. And having arrived there, he shouted, O Aruni of Panchal, where art thou? Come hither, my child. And Aruni, hearing the voice of his preceptor, speedily came out of watercourse and stood before his preceptor. And addressing the latter, Aruni said, Here I am in the breach of the watercourse. Not having been able to devise any other means, I entered myself for the purpose of preventing the water running out. It is only upon hearing thy voice that, having left it and allowed the water to escape, I have stood before thee. I salute thee, Master. Tell me what I have to do. The preceptor, thus addressed, replied, Because in getting up from the ditch thou hast opened the watercourse, thenceforth shalt thou be called Uddhalaka, as a mark of thy preceptor's favour. And because my words have been obeyed by thee, thou shalt obtain good fortune. And all the Vedas shall shine in thee, and all the Dharmashastras also. And Aruni, thus addressed by his preceptor, went to the country after his heart. The name of another Ayodhya Dayuma's disciple was Upamanyu, and Dayumya appointed him, saying, Go, my child, Upamanyu, look after the kine. And according to his preceptor's orders, he went to tend the kine. And having watched them all day, he returned in the evening to his preceptor's house. And standing before him, he saluted him respectfully. And his preceptor, seeing him in good condition of body, asked him, Upamanyu, my child, upon what thou support thyself? Thou art exceedingly plump. And he answered, Sir, I support myself by begging. And his preceptor said, What is obtained in alms shall not be used by thee before offering it to me. And Upamanyu, thus told, went away. And having obtained alms, he offered the same to his preceptor. And his preceptor took from him even the whole. And Upamanyu, thus treated, went to attend the cattle. And having watched them all day, he returned in the evening to his preceptor's abode. And he stood before his preceptor and saluted him with respect. And his preceptor, perceiving that he still continued to be of good condition of body, said unto him, Upamanyu, my child, I take from thee even the whole of what thou obtainest in alms, without leaving anything for thee. How then thou dost at present contrive to support thyself? And Upamanyu said unto his preceptor, Sir, having made over to you all that I obtained in alms, I go a begging a second time for supporting myself. And his preceptor then replied, This is not the way in which thou shouldest obey the preceptor. By this thou art diminishing the support of others that living by begging. Truly, having supported thyself so, thou hast proven thyself covetous. And Upamanyu, having signified his assent to all that his preceptor said, went away to attend the cattle. And having watched them all day, he returned to his preceptor's house. And he stood before his preceptor and saluted him respectfully. And his preceptor, observing that he was still fat, said again to him, Upamanyu, my child, I take from thee all thou obtainest in alms, and thou dost do not go begging a second time, and yet art thou in healthy condition. How dost thou support thyself? And Upamanyu, thus questioned, answered, Sir, I now live upon the milk of these cows. And his preceptor thereupon told him, It is not lawful for thee to appropriate the milk without first obtaining my consent. And Upamanyu, having assented to the justice of these observations, went away to tend the kine. And when he returned to his preceptor's abode, he stood before him and saluted him as usual. And his preceptor, seeing that he was still fat, said, Upamanyu, my child, thou eatest no longer of alms, nor dost thou go a begging a second time, nor even drinkest of the milk, yet art thou fat. By what means dost thou contrive to live now? And Upamanyu replied, Sir, I now sip the froth that these calves throw out, while sucking their mother's teats. And the preceptor said, These generous calves, I suppose, out of compassion for thee, throw out large quantities of froth. Wouldst thou stand in way of their full meals by acting as thou hast done, knowing that it is unlawful for thee to drink the froth? And Upamanyu, having signified his assent to this, went as before to tend the cows. And restrained by his preceptor, he feedeth not on alms, nor hath he anything else to eat. He drinketh not the milk, nor tasteth he of the froth.